Okay, so today we're going to be doing monoprinting. The materials that I have is, the main piece is called a jelly printing plate. So it's made out of this gel material. It comes in this case and it has like these plastic protecting pieces on it. So when you actually open it up, you're going to peel them off, okay? I have a lot of this extra paper that you can put down instead of having to work right on the table. Particularly because this, you can see it was down before and it kind of leaves a grease mark behind. I have no idea what's in it, but it keeps it moist so that the paint will always peel off in a really nice way without wrecking your paper. So monoprinting is the idea that we make one picture with it. So you put it on this piece of paper and you pull a print off, okay? I have a bunch of them that I had made. So I have a couple of them that were just solid colors. I've got some blank paper here. And I'm going to do some on top of things. So these are kind of some examples of monoprinting. So you can layer. This is a product that will allow you to make different patterns and designs, and then you can layer again and again. You can also use this as a background. Brendan, please stop. A background, and then you could use the relief printmaking blocks, something like this. You could ink it, and you could stamp it. That way you're kind of customizing your background color, right? Because with the printmaking, you really only get two colors typically, which is ink and then the paper color, okay? So that's where this kind of comes into play. So I will leave those there. When I do this, you can use tempera or you can use acrylic paint. And I'm going to paint directly onto the surface of this with a paintbrush. I chose tempera today, and I'm going to start with the lightest color first, okay? So that I'm not going to clean in between my layers of paint. So I'm going to just take my yellow, and I'm going to just paint it right on to the surface of my block here. What's kind of cool is that as you do this, if you leave kind of these brush strokes, they will show up when you rub it onto your sort of paper or whatever it is that you're doing. So I'm going to do it on this one because this one's kind of empty looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down, and if you've done printmaking before, once it touches the block, you don't pick it up and move it. It will shift it and it will lose your design. So I'm going to put it down. I keep both hands on it at all times. So one hand keeps it in place and the other hand I rub. You have to rub a little bit with some pressure. You don't have to, like, my table's going to wiggle a little because these are kind of wobbly, but kind of make sure you get all the edges so that it stays on, and then you peel it off. Cool. So it coats it really quickly and really fast. This size is about the 8 by 10. It's a little bit smaller than that, so this is a good size paper for this product, okay? Now, if I want to do something else, I can go back and I can leave it like that, and I can, maybe I want to do, we'll do some dots here. Let's see. I can do this. So you can make patterns on here, designs. Oh, now I've messed my pattern. I gotta go back. Ooh, that's... You can kind of play around with it and see what happens. So this is one of those that I'm going to let you, if you'd like, you can experiment with it. So I'm going to take this one that has this great green background already. It's kind of plain. I'm going to want to use layers on this. This is not an A paper at all. Like if you turn me in a green piece of paper, that's going to be like, ooh, we got to go back. So because I like this color scheme with a little bit of yellow and the blue with the green, kind of that cool color scheme, or those are like that triadic color scheme because the yellow and blue make green. We're just going to press it on there and I'm going to pull it off. Okay? There's another one. So now, if I want to go back, I can also do something like this. I can leave this on here, or I can go back in, and I can just kind of mush all the paint around. If you notice, I'm not cleaning in between. If you do something like this and say you have a yellow and then you want to go to like a purple color, my advice would be to clean it, and then you'll have to dry it off a little bit, because those two colors will do what when you mix them together? Brown, because they're complements, so they're not the best choice for that. I can see if I can add some yellow. It doesn't really do much. I can add some dabs and dashes. I can also go back, like with the end of my paintbrush, and I can make marks on here. I can scratch some of this off. I can see what happens. There's kind of a glare to the with the lights here. So I'm going to try a black piece of paper. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to put that on here. I'm going to carefully press it down. I'm going to pull it up.
That looks weird.
Now, I could also do, let's see what else I have in here. I've got, what else? We'll do it on this one too. Now, I have enough paint. Do you see how it's still kind of shiny on here? With whatever this material is, the paint never dries. We used to be able to do these on like plexiglasses, which were like a really hard surface. And by the time you'd be done making your pretty picture, it would dry and it would like, you'd go and nothing would come off of it. It would just stay on the plexiglass. So whatever is in this material allows it to stay moist or wet enough that it will stick to the paper still. And there I've got another. So this would be a second pull. Traditionally, you can only get about one out of it. But I can save all these. When you do this, I would have about 4 or 5 sheets of paper ready, have your name on the back right away, and then just kind of play with it, okay? Now, if you want to do words, this is not the material to do words with. Because if you would write my name in here, it would be reversed when I pulled it up and it would be backwards. And you could not read it. Does that make sense? So this is more for like images. You can do a little bit more on the abstract side is a good choice. You could do flowers. If you wanted to do maybe a picture of a car that you found in a magazine, what's cool about this is I can see through it, right? Yes, it's probably going to damage the material, like the picture, but you could lay the picture underneath, put this over it, and then you could paint over the top. You could see through this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had like a logo that's not words, would be great. Grady.
Well, what if you like you put your name, like if you put words like God, like you have it on this side, but then you just turn it around, kind of.
You can try it. It doesn't always work though.
Okay.
So my advice is to stay away from it because it won't be successful. Yes.
What if you're like super skilled like me and you can write your name backwards?
You can try it. It usually looks like a 3-year-old does it though. Just advice. So that's my word of advice. Any other questions that are pertinent to this? Yes.
Are you allowed to, if you want it to be reversed, you're writing backward? You know, like a reflection in a window if you're trying like that detailed of
You could play around with it, but it's, like I said, I've played around with it. I know one of the teacher aides, Mr. Strom, used it to experiment with some stuff, and it's not as successful. Like the relief printmaking block is a better choice for that.
No, I'm talking about if you actually want the letters to show up on your painting reversed.
Sure.
Oh.
Any other questions? Okay, before you clean up, these are your tools. This gets cleaned up. I'm going to show you how easy this is to wash this under the sink because this gets cleaned up. So ladies, if you can move so that Matt can, you're okay.
Everybody move.
Maybe bend down so Matt can video. That is why I said ladies, pay attention. You're just going to rinse it right. Please stop talking. It just rinses right off. When you're in the process of cleaning this up, you can let this kind of rub it with your fingers. Make sure all the paint is off. And then you can kind of lay it on here to dry. Clean the rest of your supplies. And then come back. We'll pretend that's clean. I'm going to come back with paper towel, dry it off, and then I'm going to put it back in the container where I found it. Okay? Does that make sense? Alrighty then. Thank you, Matt, for videotaping. The rest of you can go back to work.
Should I turn off?
Yeah.